Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and before I get started with this video, I'm just saying thank you for following me for the past 2 years. It's been a huge, it's been really surprising to see how far I've been, and yeah, it's already been 2 years. Can't believe it's been 2 years. October 3rd, 2020, that's when I started this channel, still going from today. Very happy with myself, and hopefully we're going for furthermore. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into my review for Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 is directed by Ivan Reitman, written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, based on characters by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, produced by Ivan Reitman, cinematography from Michael Chapman, edited by Don Camburn and Sheldon Kahn, music by Randy Elderman, and production company from Columbia Pictures and distributed by Columbia Pictures. Released in New Zealand on the 16th of November 1989 and the US on the 16th of June 1989. The runtime of this movie is 108 minutes, so an hour and 48 minutes. The rating in New Zealand is rated PG, in the US it is rated a PG. The genre of this, it's a comedy, action, satire, science fiction, fantasy, adventure, and supernatural. Plot. 5 years after they defeated Gozer, the Ghostbusters are out of business. When Dana begins to have ghost problems again, the boys come out of retirement and to aid her and hopefully save New York City from a new paranormal threat. The cast of this movie, we have Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz, Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett, Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler, Rick Moranis as Louis Tolley, Annie Potts as Janine Millentz, and Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore. Development. After the success of Ghostbusters, a sequel was considered inevitable, even though the film has been developed as a standalone project. The development on Ghostbusters 2 was horrendous, and the behind-the-scenes conflicts were given as much coverage in the press as the film. When David Putman became chairman of Columbia Pictures in June 1986, he was not interested in developing an expensive sequel and favoured smaller films, such as the critically acclaimed war film Hope and Glory from 1987 and the comedy film Bloodhounds of Broadway from 1989, over big budget blockbusters. He also greenlit several foreign films by European directors because he preferred making films for the world market. Ghostbusters was a part of the former Columbia executive Frank Price's legacy, and Putnam had no interest in furthering the legacy while building his own. Critical response. Ghostbusters 2 received generally negative reviews from critics. Audiences responded more positively. CinemaScore polls reportedly gave the moviegoers an average rating of an A- on an A+ to an F scale. Dave Kerr and USA Today's Mike Clark was critical of attempts at making the Ghostbusters more mature, which made the film feel tired and lacking in surprises. They said that Ghostbusters had succeeded by projecting childlike fantasies onto adult characters who snubbed authority and bonded in a clubhouse, but by taking a surreal comedic fantasy and adding humanity to the central characters, the sequel had become Full Ghostbusters and a Baby, a reference to the 1987 comedy movie Three Men and a Baby. Roger Ebert called it a disappointment, saying he reviewed Ghostbusters 2 in a public screening and heard only one laugh during the entire film. Now let's get into my thoughts of Ghostbusters 2. On to the good. Okay, for me, Ghostbusters 2 was a good movie. I love seeing everyone back in this movie, and they all do a great job, and same with the rest of the crew of this. And the new ads were good as well. I think this movie's second act was the best out of the whole movie for me, and it worked very well and yeah, overall, this movie was a fun movie that I did enjoy my time with mostly, and yeah, that is really about it for me. The band disappointing. Okay, for me, this movie is a huge disappointment because I love the original film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and this movie was just good and nothing special for me. I think the scares in this movie were just a bit too cheesy for me to push it back, unfortunately. And the villain of this movie could have worked a wee bit better for me personally with some development, because there was some development issues with that character of the villain. But yeah, that's about it. Final thoughts. Ghostbusters 2 was a good movie, nothing special, and a huge upset from the first one, in my opinion. I think this movie did have its problems for me, like the scares were a bit too cheesy, and the villain in this movie could have worked a wee bit better for me. And yeah, overall, a good movie, but I will recommend if you haven't seen this movie, but the original. So if you haven't seen the original, if you have seen the original, skip the film. But that's just my personal opinion. Uh, Score for this movie: stars 3 out of 5 stars. Percentage as a 64%. Grading will be giving it a C minus, and out of 10 is a 6.4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my review for Ghostbusters 2. Stay tuned to tomorrow for Ghostbusters 2016. Thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.